welcome to this session. It's panel discussion on publishing in quality and reliability, editor's perspective panel session. Today we're very glad to have several editors, 5 journal editors in quality reliability area to share with us their perspective on our published papers. And no matter as a faculty member, as student, we're all interested or we want public papers, share all the research results. So the journals, I think, are not just publishing papers, but also they define the direction and also how they lead the direction, define the way how to write, how to present, and so on. So the editors, they have their side. They have seen many papers and they have their own judgment regarding what's good papers and how to improve paper quality and so on. And therefore, we invite 5 journal editors, IA Transactions, Prof. Jian Xi from Georgia Tech, and Professor Jin Li from Arizona State for QTKM, and Professor Murat Testik from Testik University for quality engineering, and also Professor Fuji Zong from Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, Professor Peihua Qiu from the University of Florida. And all these journals are leading journals in our area, especially some people complain and say we need to create more outlets for our publications. Therefore, relatively QTKM is relatively new, but I think QTKM and also quality engineering are increasing quickly in recent years. And this actually benefits our society because it gives us more opportunity for paper outlets. So today, the editors will share and also introduce more information about the journals. So without further ado, let's welcome our editors. Okay. The first one is Jin Li from Arizona State.
So I need to open up
Okay.
Oh, this is the PowerPoint.
Oh.
Okay. Stand here. Well, thank you for Kaibo for inviting me here. I'm here on behalf of Quality Technology and Quantitative Management. We are a relatively new journal. Well, not that new, but new to this audience. We were born in year 2004. Right now, we are publishing 4 issues per year. Each issue has about 7 to 8 papers. Our journal is included in the SCI Extended since 2009. So in terms of the topics of work we welcome to publish in our journal, we publish both theoretical work and applications related to quality, reliability, applied statistics. So this is the quality technology part. And you may have noticed in our title, we also have a quantitative management. So that part is really about the operational side, operational management, especially how to use queuing theory, queuing models to model the systems. We publish applications in both industrial and business management. So we're a new journal, but we are steadily increasing our impact factor and citation numbers, especially for the recent couple of years. And I became the editor-in-chief early this year. So we have 3 editors-in-chiefs in 3 different areas. The first one, Professor Qinwei Wu, is actually the coordinating editor from National Tsinghua University. He has been with QTQM since last term, and he had done lots of work prior to becoming the editor-in-chief. So we have another editor from Portugal, and myself is Jin Li from Arizona State University. And just starting this year, QTQM has been working with Taylor and Francis. So this is a publisher, also publishes IA Transactions and a few other well-known journals. So we're using an online system. Prior to working with TNF, we were using the email communication. So really, I'm really appreciative to the previous editors-in-chiefs for their efforts for working together with TNF to make the online system work. So here's just a brief introduction about the review process. So we follow the similar procedure to other journals. From editors-in-chief, the paper will be assigned to AEs, and AEs will assign the paper to reviewers. The success rate is about 25%. And our review cycle currently is a little bit longer than this, but since we have established the online system, we target less than 1 week to reject unfit paper from the EIC, and 3 months for the first round review, and 1 to 2 months for the second round review if needed. And we're also implementing a few strategies to try to speed up the review cycle, because we understand that's very important for authors. So, previously I introduced a little bit of the history of QTQM, and starting this year we are promoting a few new things for this journal. The first one is the annual Best Paper Award. So basically starting in this year, QTQM will select 1 best paper and 1 honorable mention for papers published throughout the whole year. And the authors of the Best Paper Award will receive $500. That's not a very big amount of money, but it's just like a thank you note for selecting our journal as your publication bank. So this is something I want to introduce a little bit more. We're going to have an application mini track in each issue of QTQM starting at this year. So basically, previous QTQM publications were mostly about theoretical development, inequality, reliability, applied statistics, a little bit queuing theory, and we think applications are very important nowadays. Application really drives the methodological development. So starting from the first issue of this year, we are going to have an application mini track. So what kind of papers would fit the mini track? If you think about this, if you have a new application, for example, it could be a new process that just emerged in the recent years, like additive manufacturing, or you work on a traditional manufacturing, but because of the recent years development in sensing technology and the information system, you have lots of different types of data, new type of data like imaging or video, or you can have more data to know the quality and reliability of the system because of the connectivity of the information system. Or the applications can be outside the manufacturing arena. For example, it can be in healthcare, health. Everybody has a mobile phone, right? So using the mobile apps, lots of industry institutes, they have built the mobile devices, the mobile apps to keep track of, for example, chronic disease patient, to monitor their health, collect data such that they can do intervention timely and for each person. And other applications could be power grid, Internet of Things. So for all these new application areas, we welcome the submission. And in terms of the methodological development, that's less of an emphasis. So basically, we want the paper to be, you have a new process or a new application, and there is a quality-related problem, and you find out something, or it can be either existing method or it can be something you develop. But if this existing method is not just picked up by convenience, it really fits your problem, and in the end, you show the problem is solved well. So for this kind of paper, we do welcome the submissions. So we're going to have a fast track review. So basically, a paper will be handled by EICs directly to reviewers. There's no AE involved, so hopefully we'll give you a decision within 2 months. If you have a paper right now and you think may fit this application mini track, feel free to submit. Otherwise, if you are writing a paper or planning to write a paper of this kind, you can use the recommended format. This format is really to help the authors to know what we're expecting, such that you can format and organize the materials of your paper accordingly. So all this information is on our website. So in addition to a recommended format, just papers published in mini track also are shorter than a regular length paper. So basically you can think of this as a technical note. You don't need to have lots of mathematical derivations, lots of proofs. You know, you can put everything you think needed in a supplemental material which is available online. So basically we want the text, the main text of the paper focusing on the application, why you think it's new, and why you think quality is the big problem, and how you solve that problem. So another new thing is we are having a special issue about data analytics for QTQM. So this is pretty much similar to what everybody else is doing. So it's focusing on how to use rich data sources from different domains to solve problems. So as long as you have a paper using different types of using data analytics, quantitative approaches to solve a problem, it will fit. And this is a regular QTQM paper. It's not the application mini track, so you have the regular length. And these are the key dates, and all this information will also be circulated within the society, so you don't really need to put out anything as of now. So that's pretty much about QTQM. Last, I want to thank our sponsors and our previous editors-in-chiefs and current board members, including the advisory board and our associate editors. Thank you.
So today we will leave all Q&A to the end and let the editors do it first. So next will be quality engineering. You must stand this way to have camera.
All right.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Kaibo, for inviting me here. I'm the editor-in-chief of Quality Engineering since 2016, and before that, I was the editor, as the editor-elect for like 6 months in 2015. I'm currently a professor of industrial engineering at Hacettepe University in Ankara, Turkey. And I'm going to give you some brief background about the quality engineering. Quality engineering is an official journal of the American Society for Quality, and it has been published by the Taylor and Francis group again. We have 29 years of publications. In 2017, we will publish the first issue of volume 29. Which is under production, and it's going to be this 200 Research Conference special issue. Each year we publish 4 issues, and in each issue we publish like 10-12 papers, around 10-12 papers. We publish different types of articles, original research articles, case studies. We have a special column that's called the Practitioner Advice column, and we have Quality Quandaries, which has a separate editor than me, and we also publish some other literature review type of papers in addition to these. Quality engineering is abstracted and indexed by various services, but like Science Citation Index is mostly considered for many people, and we also have Scopus in our indexing databases. Our impact factor for 2015 was 0.883, which is increasing every year, and our 5-year impact factor is about 1. Here is the aims and scope of the journal. Quality engineering is devoted to the publication of original quality engineering solutions. Our audience is mostly practitioners and the researchers. We aim to promote a rich exchange among the quality engineering community and papers that describe new methods ready for immediate industrial application. So we don't prefer very theoretical papers, while when we want immediate industrial applications or case studies in terms of examples of techniques uniquely employed. So we are mostly on the practical side of the quality engineering area. We cover a wide variety of topics in quality engineering, such as experimental designs, measurement systems analysis, statistical process control, regression, reliability, response surface methodology, parameter design, Six Sigma, statistical engineering, and test and evaluation techniques. And in each of these areas, we have a balance of the papers published. When you submit a paper to quality engineering, they are first subject to an initial review by me. I review the content, and if the content is suitable, I submit it to peer review, and we generally have 2 or more reviewers, independent, anonymous expert reviewers for this. And our review process is single blind process, where the reviewers see your names, but you don't know who are the reviewers. We use an online system, Scholar One manuscript system, which makes our submission process very fast and very tractable. We can track the status of your manuscripts easily, and we try to be a fast journal in terms of our decisions. And here you can see that the average time from submission to the final decision of a paper is 26 for the last year. In 26 days, the average is 26 days for the final decision. And for the first decision, for the initial decision, this number is like 16 days. So we try to be fast. After the paper gets accepted, we try to publish it in a week. Of course, this is going to be unedited, unproofed version of the paper. But we give an DOI number, and we try to publish it as fast as possible. And this is generally 1 week for the publication. And it is very important for young researchers to have their paper or research publicly available in short amounts of time. We also have some spatial issues. Since 2014, we have this 200 Research Conference spatial issue, in which in this conference, actually, 6 selected papers are discussed over the whole conference, and each paper is published in the first issue of each year. Currently, we have the conference spatial issue ready for publication in the first issue of 2017. In addition to that, we had a reliability engineering spatial issue in 2015. And we are planning several other spatial issues. Again, this is the 200 conference for 2007, which is in production. Then for the third issue of 2017, we are planning a reliable engineering spatial issue by Pan. And of course, in 2018, we are again planning this 200 research conference, and we are planning a Lean Six Sigma spatial issue also in 2018. These are some papers, just to give you an idea. These are the papers that are mostly downloaded in 2016. And as you can see, we have different types of papers. These stars indicate that the paper is still not published. It's available online, but we have a wide variety of papers that are being published by quality engineering. And these are what I want to say for today. And if you have any questions, I'm going to answer them. Thank you.
Okay, next is security.
My name is Fu Jizong. I'm the editor of JQT. I saw this session for sharing experience, so just saying that I'm also an associate editor of several other journals. But today is mainly to promote JQT, of course. JQT founded in 1969, so totally 50 years, 50. I think next year probably we'll try to do some celebration to come out some special thing on that. It's a flagship journal of the ASQ, and then it's ranked as the most cited journal in several areas, like industrial statistics, i.e. management science, and OR. Also consider JQT as a top journal. For the review, usually we it's a little bit different from the other journal, and the editor-in-chief actually handle all the paper, and we have board of the review board. So usually I handle paper, I will assign one member from the review board and also find another external reviewer to review the paper. And then I need to make the final decision. And so I'm the only one who facing the authors. And what I usually do, actually, when I receive paper, I will reject more than half of the paper, and then sum that, and I think there's a hope, and I'll go for the review, and then doing that. Acceptance rate about 10%, around 10%. But I still encourage everybody to submit, and usually we'll prepare a quite good review report, either accept or reject. They usually have a good report. Review time, internally actually we push the reviewer to review that within 2 months. That's an ideal case, sometimes more than that. But if more than 4 months, we'll trigger an alarm, and I will usually do something specific for that. If it's more than 4 months, I will do something. Unfortunately, sometimes it's longer, but we try to shorten that. So that's the current situation. In terms of coverage, we other than the thing you already know that what published in JQT, this year we actually promote 3 special issues, still call for paper. One is the statistic process control for big data streams. The importance and the specific need for the new research for the data stream, I think today and yesterday there are several sessions talk about that. That will not repeat. The situation is different. How to real-time deal with the big data stream under the framework of statistics process control. It's different from that every hour take 5 samples. It's a different situation. The other special issues, reliability and maintenance, modeling with the big data. We believe that reliability and maintenance actually under the impact of big data, it will come out some new problems. Example like GE, actually right now they not really sell the engine to Boeing. Actually they rent it because the sensor come out of the data stream. They can real-time monitoring the health. And then so under that definition, the reliability and maintenance actually is quite different from in the test. So I believe there are some new problems that work to tackle. And the third special issue is quality engineering for advanced manufacturing. 3D printing is one, and there are several others because the new technology, and that will evolve and that will introduce new problems. So we hope to encourage people to look into that, the new problem, and then therefore new methodology. Originally, we proposed the deadline is end of this year. Then being requested by several authors, very soon I'm going to announce we will extend the deadline. So probably till mid next year. So if you are still interested, let me know, and then we'll extend the deadline. We also have some conference. Informs will be one. We're running that JQT invited session for several years. I will consider as an owner. We specifically pick up some suitable, particularly good papers present at conference. Over the year, there are 3 conferences. We'll run in the invited session. One is spring research. Next year will be Rogers. 4th technical conference, Philadelphia. Informs 217. Houston will be next year. We'll also try out some other conference in Europe, like MBIS will be one, but it's not regularly invited. So possibly we'll have more invited sessions. So I encourage people to pay attention to that. Okay, I will finish here.
Thank you, Kevin, for inviting me here. And I'm so excited that my term will end very soon, by the end of this year. During the editorship, actually, I don't have any weekends, so it's not a fun job. I have been editor for this journal for a couple of years already, and Technometrics was Techometrics was created in 1959. It's an official journal of ASA, that's the American Statistical Association, and ASQ, that's the American Society for Quality. And the name of techometry actually was given by R.A. Fisher. I don't know whether you know Fisher. In statistics, everybody knows R.A. Fisher because entire statistics is under his philosophy. And the major mission of this journal is we try to make some contributions to the development and the use of statistical methodologies in physical, chemical, engineering sciences, as well as information sciences and technology, and the impact factors. And in statistics, Techometric is the most applied, one of the most applied journals. And in engineering, probably this is the most theoretical journal. So depending on how you look at this journal. And but almost everybody thinks that this is a flagship journal in our area, especially in quality, reliability, design, and regressions and other applied statistical areas. And those are the number of submissions over the past many years. And roughly we receive, especially in recent years, we receive about 200 original papers a year. And yes, I have the acceptance rate is around 20%, I should say. We have 4 issues a year. And each issue we publish about 10 papers. So we publish about 40 papers a year. So roughly 20% acceptance rate. And this table gives us the final editorial decisions for papers submitted in the past year, in 2015. So you can see that the final decision, yes. So from this table, roughly the acceptance rate is about 20%, as I mentioned. Now the review times is listed in this table. And in Techometric, we have 3 levels of reviews. Level 1 means I handle the paper and make the final decision. And usually I reject around 35 to 40% of papers after I read the paper. Okay, that's called the level 1. I made the final decision. And the time is very fast. Usually I handle all the new submission within a week. So the median is 4 days. Okay. Sometimes I'm so busy, so occasionally the maximum time is 27 days. That's only 1 paper or 2 papers, something like that. And then after I think that the paper is reasonably good and that paper it's not in my expertise, and I send the paper to associated. That's called level 2 review. And then the associated, based on his or her expertise, will make final decision, for example, reject paper or something like that. Media time is only about 25 days. Okay. Then after that's called the level 2. Then after the associated thinks that this paper is the quality is really very good and thinks that it was to send it out to reviewers. Then the reviewers will write some review reports and make some recommendation to the associated. Associated will make recommendation to the editor. Then editor make the final decision. That's called a level 3 review. The median time is around 79 days. And to me, this is a big achievement for Techometrics. I remember that my first several papers published in Techometrics, the average number of days from submission to acceptance is around 3 years. That's about 10 years ago. And you can imagine we already achieved a lot to speed up the review process. Especially, this is beneficial, especially to younger researchers, and I realize that's the importance of that. So we make every effort to speed up the review process. And this is the last slide here, but I just want to mention that for researchers, please consider Techometrics. When I present this journal to some parts of the world, for example, some countries in Europe and Australia, many people don't know this journal. Because for engineering people think this is too theoretical, so they will consider some other journal. For statistical people will think this is too applied, so they will think about JASAs and other journals. So we are in the boundaries. And now I think times already changed. Nowadays, more and more research programs are interdisciplinary and more applied. So this should be a public journal. If you have good papers, please consider this journal. Thank you so much.
Next one, IE transactions from Jenshi from Tech.
Okay, I'll be quick so we can have more discussions. I come to talk about the quality and reliability engineering IE transactions. So in this journal, we really emphasize some new innovative methodologies motivated by engineering problems. So really talking about two things. One is we emphasize the methodology and the engineering relevance. So for those kind of topics on quality reliabilities, we welcome all your submission. I have more slides, but we're not go to the last one. No? So, at the top of this slide, so the last year impact factor for IE transactions altogether is 1.46, and the acceptance rate is about 20%. So I think you probably like to see these two charts. One is review time. The majority of them about 3 months or so here. You can see this distribution. We really want to eliminate those kind of outliers, I say. And our own objective is all the papers should be come back for the first decision within 4 months and prefer 3 months. So this is something I check and remind the editor, or sometimes jump over the department editor, talk to the referee directly. So this 3 to 4 months is something targeted for. More than 4 months, if you didn't hear anything, send me an email. I will make sure to reply you and push it. And another thing is, like Professor Chu said, we have lots of publications from the United States, some from China, Asia, and overall, we need to promote this journal in international exposure in European countries, Asia, Middle East, Africa, and so on. So if you have friends over there, try to promote this one, and also do big efforts, try to get it happening. I think that's all I have to say.
Okay. And before moving to the Q&A, Professor Testik want to present some sample copy of the
Should we have some sample copies over there? Please feel free to do that one for yourself. And I also didn't mention our acceptance rate is 15%, by the way. I forgot to mention.
And the Professor also mentioned that they have the invited session and informs. Actually, all the journals here, they have invited sessions. Jacob already presented yesterday. And after this session, actually quality engineering invited session. Tomorrow morning, we have IE transaction invited session. And tomorrow, the D session, we have QKM and also telemetrics. I think those invited sessions are quite also important sessions that you go there and see the typical tastes of different journals. So yeah, so you try to go to those sessions. Next, we'll go to Q&A. I think the journal editors have presented some major, including the submission rate, the acceptance ratio, and also the major direction area coverage of the journals. So if you have any questions, anything about journals, please feel free to ask.
Maybe people in the back can welcome sit down in the front. We can get closer discussion. So glad to sit here.
Please come. Okay, the first row here we have.
Yeah, the first row we have a nine.
I have a question. Usually, how do you choose the reviewer if you receive one paper?
Okay, I can ask. Choose the reviewer. Of course, we need to choose the reviewers based on the expertise expertise of the reviewer that the reviewing have enough expertise to handle the paper. And also, we cannot choose the reviewer. The reviewer cannot be your advisor or your collaborators, of course. And sometimes we also need to balance. For example, we know that the reviewer is very busy, and sometimes the reviewer, for example, we know that the reviewer is very slow. We try to avoid this kind of reviewers. And many considerations, actually. Some review we know it's quite busy. We already sent him several papers already, and we try to avoid sending him or her more papers. So many different considerations.
I want to add something on that. I think right now the many journals have the online system, IE transaction, metrics, they actually have suggested reviewer, which is good. JQT, unfortunately, right now we don't have that system. So now I remain on my mental network. So I take a look at the topic and I just know that who are in this area. Take a look at the reference. I also roughly know that who should be able to review this. And other than that, I want to say something about the review. Actually, when you submit the paper, and sometimes authors also think if you submit a paper and I know that you work in this area, so I keep increasing my network. So the list of reference, I know who are possibly refer. And then if you are thinking of you want to do some contribution to that journal, usually that's the first step. If you want to later get even to the editorial board, you need to start from the reviewer. And if really no people know you, and then you actually can volunteer and say, I'm happy to review the paper for your journal. If you say that, I'll be very happy. And then the other thing is that if you submit a paper, I need to assign 2 reviewers, right? So in terms, you should be able to, you are kind of responsible to review the paper for that journal. So sometimes you submit paper to a journal, but if the journal asks you to review and you say, no, I'm busy, I think this is not very good. Of course, you cannot say yes to everybody, but if you want to publish in some journal, I think, in terms that you should be able, do this kind of service, and then usually do a good. Usually when I pick up the editor, the associate editor, and then it's all report, I pick up from the reviewer the good performance.
One more point. Related to how to select a review is how you write paper. I think when you work on a topic, make sure you read thoroughly other people's work, relevant, and try to reference them in a positive way. First, acknowledge the contribution and then say what's the limitation different from yours. And do such kind of thorough review is very important because people in this area will be potentially referee for you. And it's better you call their work, give a fair judgment, rather than say you omit, neglect the work. That's bad.
I have one question. Say the public paper, we know that the paper should have something new. That means the novelty of the research of the work. The new could be new problem, new method. But sometimes when we submit paper, we're really not sure. Like the new part of my work is like sufficient, is enough. So one asks, like as editor, how do you evaluate the novelty of the work, and also like to what threshold, to what level you think that's qualified to my journal?
I can say something about QTQM because I noticed some new people just stepped in, so I want to take this opportunity to re-promote a little bit QTQM. In QTQM, right now we have application mini track I just mentioned. In addition to the mini track, I think one particular area we want to promote is application-driven methodological development. So basically, the new, I think, category just asked is in terms of the application area. So if you have a new manufacturing process, new sensor, new type of system, or new type of data generated from, for example, previously traditional process, but because of the sensing and the information technology, now that kind of data is available. So if this is the area you are working on, I think that's the new I'm defining for QTQM is promoted here. So it doesn't have to be really mathematically sophisticated solution. So our purpose is really to open up a few doors for the society. We don't need the entire tunnel to be built. We only want the doors to be open by having those kind of papers. But a little bit more about the methodology. We don't want papers that you pick up the methodology just by convenience. It's arbitrary because you know linear regression. You just use linear regression. You need to make a good justification about why that technique is picked for your problem. Or if you do have some modification, you need to mention why the modification is worth it. So as long as these two pieces are there, a new process for application and a methodology that fits the application, that will be the new QTQM ones.
This is a difficult question and depends on what type of papers you are publishing. In quality engineering, for example, if it's a case study, we consider unique adaptation of the methodologies. Like, for example, this comes to us many times, like Six Sigma papers. We don't accept papers that are just describing what is the defined stage, what is the major state, the demake process with the conventional methods. We want a unique adaptation of the methodology. It shouldn't be a straightforward implementation of a method. For the others, in quality engineering, like for the original research, we prefer immediate adaptation, immediate application of the methodologies. And we want each paper, we prefer papers that have real-world implementations or case studies at the end of the methodology section. So that's an contribution for us.
If I say a few words, just my own preference, and also I do it this way. For some well-defined IE problem, if you try to make some innovative ideas or original contribution, should be well studied, well documented, and the project should be well evaluated. For some new emerging area, basically the new process, new problem, not conventionally in IE people study. For such kind of problem, I'm much more tolerant to not so incomplete work. You formulate the problem, you present the problem in a certain way, and there are limitations, it didn't solve the problem completely. And for those kind of things, if I think this paper published, there'll be more IE people involved working on this kind of area. For such kind of paper, I really try to promote. I work with the author, give some suggestions, but don't require this one as complete as other conventional IE problems. And in fact, I really welcome such kind of new areas. So this really expands the research territory for IE. And this is something as IISE flagship journal, we should promote such kind of research. So don't be afraid to say, this particular paper never published in this journal, can I publish, can I submit? Yes, go ahead, submit to me. I mean, if I'm here, I try to promote.
I want to add something. I want to answer that in broader sense. But GPT actually, when I look at the paper, I take a look at two things. One is the why important and what's new. And then so if you say this is a very important problem, but you cannot identify clearly what's new, it's not good. And if you keep saying it's new, no one has done that before, but if you did not say why it's important, that will not acceptable. And in terms of new things, actually, the methodology, we're actually looking for a new methodology, mostly. Sometimes it's not necessary. And then if the application is new, we actually opened up another department called case study department. So it's more, the case study is not just directly the textbook application. So if it's something new in terms of application, you can also submit to the case study department. Case study department actually is not easier. They're just writing differently, the different contribution. And they still need to go to review, but they go to that department. So these two things we actually emphasize.
Okay, I also want to add something to this question because this is so important. As I mentioned, I reject about between 35% to 40% papers. And among those papers I rejected, there are two big categories. One is the quality is very poor, English, everything. It's obvious rejection. Another type of rejection is that everything looks quite good if you just read it. But you will feel that the paper, the novelty is not there. And simple generalizations and just from one dimensional to dimensional generalization things, and in shoe hard charts, and you modify certain rules or something like that. We just feel that there's this kind of that's called a novelty, and so that's another category of papers that we will reject it first of all. So novelty, of course, this is a kind of hard subject. The decisions about novelty is subjective. But to me, the best paper is the paper that ideally can create a new direction, promote a new research problem, and or you handle the new application, and that type of application motivates a new type of statistical problem or something like that. And those are I so-called novelty, and so those are the papers. I agree with Genting well that I personally like this kind of paper very much. And if you, especially younger people, if your papers are not well justified, but your ideas are very good, we can, as an editor, we will more tolerate with this kind of papers.
I want to quickly add something about the JQT. In addition to that, actually, the tradition of JQT, we should have the practitioner in mind. So the writing should be read by a practitioner. Really the art, at the same time, want the new methodology, but at the same time, want that the practitioner can be able to read. So the way of writing will be right.
Question? Please.
From editor's perspective, what is a good referee report and what is a bad referee report?
Yes, sometimes we get reports that say that this paper should be rejected without justification. That's not a good report, and I generally don't take those as referee reports. I prefer reports that details. If it should be rejected, it should be justified by the reviewer why it should be rejected. Or we want the reports to be, the report should provide something to the author. If we are spending some time, even if we are going to reject a paper, we want the authors to get something out of those reviews. So that's what we consider. It should be fair also.
I can speak from my personal experience. Fuji invited me on the editorial board of JQT. So at the beginning, when I saw a paper or read a paper, I would just say this paper doesn't have any novelty, and I would reject it. 2 simple sentences. And Fuji emailed me saying, "Jing, you need to put together at least a 1-page report." So as the first criteria, I think the length of the report matters. When you really write a report, either you want to advocate for that paper or you want to reject that paper, try to write 1 page long as minimum, because that will really give you the opportunity to think about the detailed comments you want to put there instead of just writing down a few sentences saying novelty is lacking, English is poor, I reject it. So as the starting point.
I want to add a few words on that. That was brief, but okay. What I really meant is, for review, if you really want to ask for a template, usually what I expect is the general comment and specific comment. And also your mindset. If you think this one has still a potential, you want them to improve, probably better to provide a detailed report. But if you think about this is definitely bad, you want to reject, probably no bother to ask them saying how to improve. But we still need to list the reason to reject, but probably it's not a very long report. But still need to say something. You cannot just say it should be rejected. But you have a reason. So I still need to convince that I need to be rejected. Don't need to be very, very detailed, but still need to have some content there. So that's one thing. And also the tone need to be careful. Right now, probably okay, later it becomes senior and some quite arrogant and then saying this is stupid and then this is the worst I've ever seen. This is definitely not different from China. So this is not good. Okay, somehow I have to help to revise. So, and also sometimes depends on the preference of the editor. The review probably you don't have to write specifically say reject or accept. some editors prefer, some don't. So probably offline tell me your decision, but still decision is at the hand of editor or associate editor. So this is to provide evidence, but you are not one to make decision. Usually, something like that. So offline, say something. If you really feel angry, you can do that offline. Tell the editor how bad that is. But in this tone should be somewhat professional, right? But of course, you feel it bad, you still need to write in a way that they feel that it's bad. You cannot just write in a very nice way, but offline saying this is bad. And that I see that happen, okay? In that there's no good criticism, it's just offline saying this is actually bad paper. And then it put me in a very bad situation, I don't know how to handle. So it need to be consistent, but the tone need to be professional, don't be emotional. But sometimes you review a paper in some way, you spend time, you feel very angry, you feel that you waste your life. And some people did put that in writing, saying I feel bad.
Just say one thing. I think what kind of referral report? I mean, this question can be answered in another way. I mean, we all authors, we write papers. So what kind of referral report you want to get for your own paper? I think that's probably a good attitude for you to work on other papers referee. And then basically you want to say, was either original contribution, if yes, what is, or no contribution, why, right? And then if you say paper need to improve, what the major concerns? I mean, what are the major problems I should be working on? Another one, what minor things I should pay attention? And I think those kind of things, basically, if you write a paper, you want something to get a fair report, come back and in detail help you. So when you refer other people's work, you do the same thing. And then if we can all do the same thing, it'll be much better.
I'm very thankful for the panel to have brought up such an important point of professionalism, because it's very crushing sometimes to get those words, and thank you, you made that point. My question is, it's been repeated before, how when you respond to a reviewer, probably a snarky reviewer even, I mean, what is the etiquettes for making sure, you don't want to fight with yourself, you want to get the paper published. So how do you respond to what are the general criteria, how you respond, what different types of responses you can see?
Responses to the reviewer, or?
Yeah, I mean, when you're reviewing, when you got the report, you want to revise. Rebuttal.
Okay, I say something first. So I think you should do the following. First, really understand the referee's report. And don't get angry if they say something, they say no contribution, but you strongly believe there's a contribution. You think another way, why he didn't think there's a strong contribution, because I didn't put it right. I think positive attitude, I think that's the first thing you should do. The second thing, when you prepare this one, prepare a point-to-point response. It's as a separate report. And say paper number, title, and sentence editor, referee, and then the comments one from editor, or comment from referee number one, and then number two. Use the exact words on the question and then answer one by one in great detail. I think that's quite important. Normally when I get come back, I read this one first before I read the paper. If I am really happy about this one, I'll probably read the paper pretty fast. So that's one thing. Another thing is don't argue with the referee. I mean, try to explain. I mean, if that's something constructive, you should respond in detail. And if something you disagree, you don't say, I mean, don't just say something, okay, maybe I didn't say it clearly in the original paper, that my intent is something, and in the revised paper, I further explain this one in which page, which line, and really mark it. So the referee can go read your report, go to the paper, and try to understand this much better. And another thing, I don't know if right or wrong, if they agree. I think normally referee read your paper to try to help improve the paper better. So try to think what I can do by reading the report, revise my paper to make the paper better, rather than say, referee, you are wrong, I do disagree, referee, I do disagree. And then after all these efforts, the paper is still original paper. I think that's kind of a waste of referee's time.
Just as a follow-up, I see a type of response which is really interesting. the author would just say, for every comment or question, the author would say, the referee is right, thank you, and then here are my responses. Then they refuses to change anything for the paper. So although if they say, no, you are wrong, we say, yes, you are right, and this is what I think, but they don't change anything. So this is a strategy, probably from the author's perspective. It saves you lots of time to really change anything or do additional experiments. But from the referee's perspective, when they look at it, they will think, well, just try to avoid doing any additional work. Right? So once you have a comment, you think that comment makes sense. In addition to putting down some, rebuttal explanation, you change something to the paper. That will make the referee feel their work really worth it.
I just want to add something to it. During my 3.5 years editorship for Technometric, I have 2 occasions that after the first revision, we finally detected errors. And in those situations like this, the authors try to avoid some major concerns raised in the reviewer reports. And instead, the authors try to convince the editor that how senior they are in reporting figures in the areas. And the reviewers didn't understand the papers or problems well. And they think that the paper is already in good shape. And you see, for same problem, different people can look at the problem from different angles, different perspectives. And I agree with Professor Su's comments that first we need to have a good attitude. And we are all scientists. We are equal. We cannot just say I'm an important figure in this area. This is not the attitude already. And if, for example, you feel difficulty to address those issues, just tell the reviewers or the editors that you already make all the efforts, try to improve the paper, try to address those concerns. But at this moment, for some reason you cannot, and in the future research we will try to address them. And I think this kind of response will be much better than we just say the reviewer didn't understand the problem.
I can also add one other thing, but since the authors are the ones who want their paper to be accepted, I recommend to make the reviewer's life easier. Like, for example, the reviewer or the referee should understand like what changes you made in the document. And quality engineering, what we require is we want the highlighted text that is also submitted in addition to point-by-point responses to the reviewers. That's important because the editor does not please reduce the time that the editor will spend for finding what changes you made in the document. So that is also another important point.
May I ask a question either to all editors or to some specific journals? Following the professor just mentioned, writing, sometimes you reject paper in the first place, just looking at writing. I think to us, especially many native English speakers, I'll say it's a tough task to write in really fluent and it looks perfect writing language and everything. So I think it's hard really to give us a simple answer, say how to write a good paper. But we have any experience, really starting from the first paper ever published. So at that time, we excited to write it out because many papers published. So any suggestions regarding how to improve the writing, especially for students like in the very beginning, the first several papers?
I think the logic is quite important, the flow, right? So if you're writing sometimes difficult English, I think even writing in Chinese, I don't think you'll be a good writer. Just the logic will be very clear. It's a long story, probably I just briefly say. And then another thing is that some people, it's not clear, it's not carefully writing in the way that it's another grammar and the spelling error. And this thing is not supposed to happen. You need to be careful to check that. If people feel that if things very rushed to prepare a draft, if they give them a feeling, they don't do review, they simply think it should be rejected. So this is quite important. And to the end, of course, right now you can find some other help when you finish the writing, the professional or English editor help you get that. But before that, you need to do a good preparation. Sometimes it's not English problem.
So I just say several points. First, we have 5 different journals here. If you read the paper, published ones carefully, they all have different writing style. They have different emphasis. So if you want to submit paper to no matter which journal, make sure you read more papers from there and try to not only the content but also how to write the paper. I think that's one thing. You cannot a technometric paper will be different from IE transaction and different from JQT, right? So you cannot say, okay, I write for the one paper, no matter where to submit, this is a paper. I think that doesn't work this way. That's one. Another thing is try to make your contribution very clear in the first few pages, I mean, double space. In very early stage, say what problem, what your contribution, what you're working on, rather than have lots of review, still don't know what you're working on. I think that's another thing. And one more is try to write, I mean, I'm not a non-native speaker of English, so I have problem in writing too. So my experience is that don't write too long sentence, too long paragraph. So use short paragraph, have some leading sentence or conclusion sentence, and then something supported. And then if sentence, you see there are 4 lines, more than 4 lines, one sentence. Write down it into 2 sentences. I think that will be effective on this like simple trick. And the last thing is the IE transactions website. There are some English service. I mean, try to get this one, and they can reimburse you the expense for helping you to final prove there's a third-party English hyper server company.
I think a lot of universities, almost every university, students can take technical writing classes, and you may also have some technical editing centers that can provide free service for students. So once you have the paper written by yourself, you can always send to the center. They will have somebody to check the grammars for you. And I personally benefited a lot from a technical writing class I took from University of Michigan. Before that, my writing was poor. I never dared to ask Professor Jianxi how he felt about my first paper, but I think it's probably not positive. But after taking that class, I benefited a lot from how to, well, I think I agree that logic and structure is more important, and flow after you write the first sentence, what the second sentence would be. So all this will be taught in a technical writing class. So highly recommend it.
And another question I have is, previous old editors introduced like the marginal probability. There's an exception ratio of 20%, 10%, some higher, lower. I actually would like to, whether you have the number, like what's the conditional probability after major revision. So for minor revision, usually we sometimes see the line over there already. So, but major revision, what's the proportion that will be rejected or accepted? We have the wrong number.
I can give a rough number. I don't know if it's a double check, it's right or wrong. Normally, I think this number is right. I reject 45% in the first round myself. So afterwards, after first major revision, I would say more than 60%, 70% accepted. Eventually, I mean, maybe have second revision or something. Something highlighting the big side.
For technometrics, we have level 1, level 2. So for level 1, that's the editor. As I mentioned, I reject about 35 to 40%. Then after I send the paper to associate editor will reject another about 20%. Then we send the paper out for reviews. And then the reviewers send those papers for the level 3. And those papers, about half will be rejected, still be rejected. Then another half will have major revision or minor revisions. For the major revisions, you still have some risks. For major revisions, the attitude, your effort will be very important. And if you don't put a lot of effort to address the major concerns, then it will be still quite risky. And for minor revision, it's safer, but you still need to put effort. And until the publications, until formally accepted, then we have the risk all the time. So I should say that we need to treat all those. Right now, I myself are revising several papers myself. I stay in the hotel all the time, except those presentations. And considering all these kind of questions we are discussing. In my opinion, regarding writings, I keep telling my students that writing is a lifelong effort. And I remember one of my collaborators, Peter Hall. Peter Hall is in statistics. He's a big statistician, just passed away about a year ago. And once he told me that, he asked me, "Why?" To my surprise, your writing is quite good. I told him, I said, "Peter, when you read my papers, you mainly just read the contents, whether the paper is interesting or not. When I read your paper, besides that, I also read your writing. If I feel that certain parts of your writing is good, I will keep in mind. The next time, probably I will use it." So you see, this is already my 26th year in this country, and I still keep using Google to search, to check the dictionaries and all those in databases. Almost every day I do this. Those are my routine. So this is a lifelong effort, and no secrets, and just put the effort.
I have something to add to the major revision question. Well, it's actually also my question. I can give a personal answer, but I go back to other editors to add their opinions. Sometimes when a major revision, the comments are given back to the authors. The author spend lots of time addressing each of the comments, and then the reviewer, the comments, the responses will be given back to the reviewer, and the reviewer, in addition to looking at the comments he made originally, he will probably has a few more new comments that was not in the original comments, something new he or she identified once he or she read the paper for a second time. So for this kind of situation, is it fair to the author, or is it right from a reviewer's perspective? Should the reviewer write such a kind of comments that are different from the first-time review? I mean, or my personal opinion as a reviewer, I avoid doing it. The second time I look at the paper, if it's some minor thing like a grammar error, I will point out. But I try to stick to my original comments to see if the authors have addressed that or not. I try to avoid, giving some new comments.
Yeah, I think to be
never ends.
I think to be professional, if you have some comments, you say that first time, right? You don't first time see that, or second time say that, which is not professional. Sometimes I cannot control the reviewer, so that's the thing. There, second time some comment. But sometimes the thing happens because of your revision. Sometimes if you get, for example, the first round, you feel that it's positive, and then somehow you're not that concentrated, and then you revise. That actually happened before. The first you saw this positive, but second time it coming a lot of, because of your revision, it cause some other problem. And that actually happened. So you need to be careful, no matter it's minor or major, before they get accepted, you need to be.
I have different opinions. I would say this way. I mean, as a referee, you should really be careful to do a good job. I mean, like I said earlier, you want your paper to be fair, right? And you be fair with other people's work. So do a very good job, try to referee. But second time, if you already see something wrong, you should point out. I mean, if there's a major concern, you still need to point out. And otherwise, I mean, we are responsible to author and also responsible to the journal. That's my opinion. And especially, when you become senior, you don't want people to point out and say, okay, see, some year you publish paper, this is wrong. That's kind of bad. So whatever you can see can improve the paper quality, I say you can do it. Sorry.
I give up.
One question on the length of the manuscript. When you submit the first time, the temptation is to put a lot of detail and paper really straight. So how do you balance that length so that, is there a good way to do this?
I think each journal has a recommended page, page numbers, recommended. IE transactions is they say no more than 30 pages. I mean, this is not like a black and white line, but I would say 25, 30 pages is considered as a reasonable length.
Econometrics also has a limit on the length, about 25 pages. You can just imagine if you are reviewed, are you, will you feel very enjoyable after you receive a paper that long? So we need the writing is very important. As we came back to the writing. We need to write in a very neat and concise way. I think that's and it's to emphasize the importance, the novelty, and all those within a limited length. That's the writing is important.
Like the journals also have like a page limitation for each issue. Like the publishers have, for example, they say that each issue will be up to 200 pages. Like if it is very important, the editor may make a decision to accept a longer paper. But if it is, you know, these are the papers, these are not dissertations or theses, so they should be separate. They should be combined. But many journals, for example, quality engineering has it. If you have some additional supplementary material, we can also include them on the online website. So it's not the print copy, but like if you have data sets or if you have some other things, we have that. And the other thing is, for example, like some journals, for example, quality engineering, we want, if you have the computer code along with the paper, we prefer to have that too for the practitioners. And we sometimes publish it if it is short, or if it is long, we can also add that as a supplementary material to the journal.
I have one question is regarding not just about the writing, also about the writing topic. Now we see a lot of new areas and new directions, including analytics and big data and so on. But when we're working on this type of topic and targeting to those journals, one concern we have that those new topics, in some sense, also related to journals in other areas, including like CS, information technology, those areas. But still, since we're in QSR, we're still trying want to target to those journals like the journals listed here. So do you have any suggestions how to working on the new topics, but in the meantime to fit with the style of our journals?
We actually like we are very open to new topics like data mining, new topic, but it's like it depends on the editor, I think. But like for quality engineering, if you have new topics, new application areas, we are very open to that. For example, like it's healthcare, we have some papers that may be related to that, or the new methods applied to different areas. We are very open to that.
Maybe I can say my opinion on. The first question is how to select the topic, research topic, right? Second question is where to submit the outcome. I think for the first one, I normally say for any, in my opinion, I'm an engineer. For a nice research topic, you should have one of three pillars. One of three. One could be a new application. So this application is new. Something not there yet in the past. So this is something could be a good topic. You work on this one. The second one is some new tools. Means new types of sensing capability, new types of actuator capability. So this kind of things was not there right now. Because of this, you can impact on all the process. New tools. The third one is the new methodology. When I say new methodology in quality reliability, I'm not saying new mathematical fundamentally new. I'm saying something maybe well developed in some other areas, but applied to our quality reliability problems. This one is new. So for some kind of thing, I call new methodology. So if I have this one of these three, normally these kind of research topics will lead into innovative, original methodological contributions. So I mean, that's how I select topic. If you use a old process with old tool and old technique, probably cannot lead to something new. That's one. Another thing, select the topic is after you identify topic, you should ask the question, why I can do it? why other people don't do it? What kind of special capabilities or some special capabilities I should develop? Then I can work on this one, and then I'm better than other people. I think this is another question you should ask. And then why I'm the right person to the new type of problem and tools. I think that's one. So after you have done all the hard work, you get a paper prepared. You should select a place which has the biggest impact for your work. So who will read the paper? And who will read the paper? Which community will appreciate your work? So this may be like especially some interdisciplinary research. Where to submit, there are different options. And one thing I like to say is, don't be afraid of to publish, submit some paper with only partially related. Most of the time, the editor want to promote. If they see they want something new, they want to publish this one and promote their own research area. More people working on this. So it's not something I work on this one. I don't know where to publish. Nobody published before because it's new. I think don't worry about this part. But the where to publish. The measure is where to make bigger impact. More people read it, more people to follow. That's my opinion.
The ideal situation, I think, for me, also a personal opinion, because I think lots of us are working on multidisciplinary research, right? So we do have collaborators in another discipline, for example, mechanical engineering, or it could be somebody in healthcare, medicine, right, biologist. So I think ideal situation is once your research is done, you can publish in 2 different journals. One journal focuses on the application. It could be a biology journal, medical journal. That one really emphasizes the medical problem-solving impacts. And the other one, you can elaborate on the development of the statistical novelty, mathematical sophistication, to make it generalized. So you can solve not just that particular problem, but a set of problems of the similar nature. So for me, for any interdisciplinary topic, if we can do that, that would be great.
Questions? If I have another question related to literature review, I think the editors here, probably in this room, the people who have read the most number of papers. Okay. And as a researcher, way into a new area, we usually face the problem. The first thing to do is reading literature and just get to know what's happening, what has been done in this area. Sometimes we're trapped in a situation that we keep reading, it's never ending because we really find more paper, really find more. Since we don't know when to stop and start working on a specific topic. So any comments, any experiences share regarding how to do the literature review part?
In the last informs, I gave a short presentation, 10 minutes, talking about the methodology tree. I think most of you heard about that one. At least that's my opinion. I just say a few words, and not 2 minutes. The methodology tree. For any research topic, for any research area, you can develop the organized knowledge as a tree structure. Say, for example, I tell you a simple example, but not perfect. Say, quality engineering. Say, the quality engineering is one block. And then you have a tree here. Say, SPC, design experiments, quality management. And then SPC, you can see multivariate, single-variate, autocorrelated, right? And then basically you can see right now the tree structure. And with such a tree structure, and what's the original contribution? So you work on under one block, this problem, and then something has been done. And then for this problem, each one can solve something, but collectively has some limitations. And then you will say, okay, my contribution is under this one right here. So this one should be one of branch in a bigger tree. So how to write the introduction, the literature review, you have to go from the top. I'm working on quality engineering problems, focus on SPC. And then the SPC, different techniques has been studied. But I just say for functional data, not too many work has been done. Within functional data, there are different techniques. And right now I'm developing this one, can address something, either assumption, something it was not working. So by using such kind of tree structure, you should go this way. This one, go to next branch, this one go to next branch, until this problem, you have several competitive technologies. You want to make an original contribution. So go this line directly to here, and then talk each competitive technology, and then say what's your contribution. I think that's a way to organize. If you have some kind of tree, and then you can organize your idea better, and also when you have new papers, you put your new paper idea somewhere in the tree. And then you can see what's the contribution, what's new. And when you have new ideas, if you can put somewhere and already people agree, this position, you are there, that means you have already a contribution. Otherwise, you always overlap with others, and then probably don't have already.
Another question I have is like once you have your topic selected, that means your problem is selected. Deciding the next step is you need to develop a certain theory and to justify or to illustrate something new and also your contribution. So the question related to the theoretical depth. Sometimes it's hard to justify or hard to evaluate personally, like how deep or how deep I should go in the theoretical aspects. So some journals really emphasize more, like if you have any comments for the theoretical depth. That question, how should I address that, and also how should I consider this when conducting the research?
Technometrics might be slightly different from the other 4 journals. And as I mentioned, in engineering, technometry might be the most theoretical journal. We need justification. justification. And why justification? Because we think that we are doing scientific work. Scientific work, you need to know why the new methodology works, in which situation it works, in which situation it doesn't work. But justification can be a theoretical justification, numerical justifications. And for friends in engineering disciplines, if you think theoretical justification is difficult, you can do many different kinds of numerical justifications. But any new methods, we do need some justifications. And otherwise, why other people will use your method, right? So justification is important, and but that does not mean deep mathematical justifications. Sometimes it's difficult. You can use numerical justification, but you need to put the effort to do the justification.
I think mathematical depth it just really depends. Like when I train my students, some students graduate from the state department, some are from engineering, some from automation. And then usually, depending on the student background, I give a little bit different training and even different topic, different way to go. But all of them can do a good job. But it really depends on their training. And then you decide which journal you do something.
I have a question for Professor Li and Professor Shi. As IE researchers, we often work with chemical engineering researchers in civil and mechanical and electrical. So they have some physical models there, and sometimes it's deterministic. It's not like IE type of models, and it's new applications, new problems. So we think it's new applications. We work on those in those areas, and we want to develop papers. But sometimes it'll be based on those simple version models, not so stochastic or so mathematically pretty. So is that viewed as incomplete work, working with those simple versions of models from other disciplines, and then try to apply the IE knowledge and analysis tools to address those problems? How is that viewed?
Start from QTQ and mini track. That's the type of work we welcome to submit to our application mini track. As I mentioned before, for this particular mini track, first of all, it's short paper, so you don't really have to have a very sophisticated system, a sophisticated methodology. Right? Just something will open up a door and expose this area to other researchers. So more work can be done, and maybe some other people, they look at your paper, they know here is the application really cool, and I have this mathematical model which I think can improve the current one that is written in that paper, and that will promote maybe some collaboration. You know, he can use your data and you can publish more papers, better papers, or theoretical papers. So that's my opinion. Welcome to consider us.
I think model simple is nothing wrong, but the question is the model still useful in certain territory, certain region. If you have a sophisticated physical-based model, I mean high-dimensional partial differential equation and so on. But if you can, under certain operation conditions, you linearize this one, use a linear model. You say, if the system is stable within this range, my model is adequate. And then based on this model, you do something. I think that makes sense. I mean, in my opinion, it makes sense. But if you simplify this one to a level they're never useful in the reality, and then I would say build upon that kind of model research, I would say not so good. So if you want to simplify the model from a complex model, you should make a justification. This model, under what kind of conditions, this one is adequate and the control monitoring diagnosis under these conditions works. And that condition you can narrow down, but not narrow down to an empty set. And then I think that will be good.
That's it. I have one question to Professor Testik. The quality engineer recently got SCI index, so I think it's getting more and more familiar with us now. Do you think any shape of focus of the journal that recent years you want to promote some areas, important topics, something that is okay?
Like we get different types of papers submitted to quality engineering. I don't want to, restrict the submissions, but sometimes the publications are coming from very different areas and they don't contribute to the quality engineering methodology in any class. So as Professor Shi mentioned earlier, that the contribution may either be an application of known methods, it can be application of known methods, or it can be a methodological or theoretical contribution. So we accept different types of papers, but in terms of application areas, we are very open to different areas. As I mentioned, it may be healthcare, it may be data mining types of research, or many areas are very welcome. We just look for the methodology and relatedness, and when we make a decision, we consider our audience. That's the important part. I mean, we don't want our audience to be unhappy about what type of research. It may be technically, a paper may be technically correct, maybe the contribution may be high, but it should also fit our audience. So we make a decision like that. But the application areas are very open, and I want to broaden the application areas.
And I think to Judy, for TK, we mentioned the mini track. I think I missed something. To me, mini track is more focused on like a new, is some even incomplete or not that well developed research topics, or how do you differentiate with the regular paper mini track?
It's called application mini track. So it's right. It emphasizes the application side. You have a new application, new process. So let me put it in this way: if there is something like manufacturing process or a sensor that was not available 5 years ago, it just appeared in recent years, and then there is a quality or reliability problem or data analytics type of problem trying to improve the system or the process, and you have the data and you use either existing model or you develop something yourself to solve that problem, and you show that really works. So as long as it fits this scope, it fits the application mini track.
Any other? my last question. You mentioned $500. That's okay. Thank you. And today, I think that we have heard the opinion, perspective of bio editors, and not just on publishing, but also on finding research topics, and also how to develop their work, and how to address your comments, and so on. And hopefully that will benefit our authors or members here. So again, please join me to thank for everything.